All right, so certainly not where you want to be at 0-1 in conference. Coming off of that, the good thing is it is an Eastern Division game. And I believe that a loss is only really a loss when you don't learn from it and you don't grow from it. So, our response here is going to be the big thing, and the way that we bounce back and go back to work and approach our work daily to get the results we want on Saturday. Talked a lot about this team and how hard they've worked, and it's true. They have, but the thing we keep telling them is just giving you an opportunity to go out there and have a good season and to go play well. And every week you have to work that process to get there and get the results you want. So, for us, offensively, we were efficient for the most part, which we knew we needed to be. We improved protections, improved our third downs, no turnovers, and improved the red zone. We knew it was going to be important that we could stay on the field. We were able to run 76 plays versus their 54, which I do think helped, in the long run. I think if, you look at it and we couldn't stay on the field, that game maybe gets out of hand with the explosives that they were handing out. 3 penalties is entirely too much on offense. And then we don't finish the last drive. That could have capped off a 93-yard drive that gives us a chance to go play in overtime. So it doesn't really matter whenever you come up on the wrong side of it. You're always looking at those things. And then, there were opportunities for us. I didn't think we necessarily capitalized on the momentum of the defensive stops that we did get. In the first half, there's a 4th down stop and we don't get points off of it. In the second half, they get a 3-and-out. We don't get points off of it. We did get some momentum on the kickoff returns, but, you got to play off that momentum, and it's a game of momentum, and I think that gives you an opportunity. You go tack another score on the board, and it changes things a little bit. Defensively, it was certainly not our best night. Those guys did play hard. You turn on the tape and the effort, it's there. We did get a big 4th down stop in the first quarter that should have turned into points, but it didn't. And they did get a stop in the 4th quarter and got the ball back with time to go down the field. So, those are things that, you're proud of the effort, maybe not always the execution. We gave up too many explosives, too many shots in short drives for touchdowns, and too many penalties there, and that's embarrassing because that's something that we pride ourselves on being disciplined. And, when you have that many penalties, it says otherwise. So we gotta get that figured out. On special teams, we had to improve our field goal protection. We did. I thought that was really good against a team that rushed well. Our punt team executed well, as well as our kickoff return. They were effective at times and really explosive at times. Effort on overall, though, on special teams, like that's been our trademark for a long time. And, I challenged our team. That was not what we want. Kickoff coverage, the lane integrity was terrible. We were not physical enough there, and that's not our standard. So there's plenty of things when you turn the tape on. There's plenty of things to go around in all 3 phases that we got to get cleaned up and get corrected. And like I said, the big thing is respond, right? You got 10 games left in the season, and we better do it quick because you get on the road and you go play UAB that, they're a good team. They've got guys out there. Everybody wants to talk about how many points they gave up. Well, Georgia Southern's pretty good on offense. So, for us, we're going to have to get ourselves ready to go play our type of game. To me, it's a Sun Belt game. They're a good football team. If you go out there and go play well, you can win. If you don't play well, they're going to beat you. It's like every week in our conference. So, we have an opportunity this week to bounce back, to put that one behind us, to learn, improve our processes. We have an opportunity to go on the road and do it a little bit better than we did it last week. And we have an opportunity really for us to go out and kind of say what type of team we are. Or are we going to let one loss turn into 2? Or are we going to, bounce back, learn from it, and keep it moving and keep our focus on what's in front? So there's a lot of things ahead of us. And this week is going to be really important for us to bounce back and do things the right way.
Coach, you mentioned about obviously challenging the entire team to respond better. Is there a specific challenge that you're putting in front of the defense for them to respond better than their performance on Saturday?
No, we just need to play better. Play with eye discipline, get lined up, get the call, get set, and we got to play better. So no, it's nothing specific. It's just, we got to execute better. We got to do everything throughout the week better. It all matters. So everything that we do from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed at night, we need to do it the way it's supposed to be done and do it with discipline. And if we do that, we'll get the results we want. But that's where we got to continue to improve, is on everything that we're doing.
When you re-watched the fourth down play, was it, obviously the pass wasn't accurate, but if the pass had been accurate, was it about, would it have been better to get the pass off quicker and maybe not roll out, or what, besides the accuracy of the pass, what other thoughts you have on that play?
A good ball, and we're going to score. I mean, it's tough going on the left. Obviously we'd have preferred the ball be on the other hash, but we knew that was the best play. I mean, I know everybody out there has their opinions on it, but they played blitz 0 3 out of 4 downs. So you weren't running the ball inside. You weren't throwing it over the middle, because then they had droppers coming out. So we felt like getting the edge was the best. We had that play ready to go. We've been repping it since fall camp, and it was the right time. Unfortunately, it was the wrong hash, and, it's not an easy throw. So I'll put it on me. But no, I mean, we had it. The design was good. Terrence was in the right spot, a good ball in the front shoulder, and he's going to score. And, we're hopefully maybe talking about some different things today.
In terms of when you watch the film, the way they run their offense and the uniqueness of it, did that have anything to do with the cornerback struggling so much, or in watching the film talk about just the struggles the cornerbacks had, or was it just great plays by the receivers, or was it a product of what they do on offense?
They put a lot of stress on you, and I think when you watch the tape, it's always hard to tell how fast somebody really goes. Their tempo was impressive. We have tempo plays too, and we try to be as fast as we can, but it's not at that pace. I mean, they stay in the same formation, and the unique thing is that most people, they'll go 1st and 10 and get nothing on 1st and 10 and get up and stand up right there and go tempo, which is unique. I mean, a lot of people don't do that. It puts pressure on you, and there's a couple of them, a couple of shots. Like the first drive, they did a good job. It was a really good design. We kind of we're in and outed. They switched it and bent it back in there. We didn't have leverage. It was a hell of a design, really good throw, good play. But there's a couple, one of them we have a pressure on. We don't get home, and we should. And we're supposed to be in cover 3, and, they double move us. We bite like it's man coverage, and they go by us. There's another one, they're tempoing, and we're not set. We're jogging over there, ball snapped, and they go and they beat us. So there's some of the stuff, I think, a lot of it is what they do. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, you got to tip your hat. I mean, they had a good plan in that offense. I mean, it's very similar to what Tennessee does. It puts a lot of stress on you. Everywhere in the box, when you lighten the box, on the perimeter when you load the box. I mean, it puts pressure. But basically, we could have done some things, and there's always a lot of things as a coach that you can do to help them. And there's some things we could have done to help us get set a little bit quicker in tempo. And we've talked about it as a staff, and there's some things that we'll do a little bit different going forward. But, a lot of it happened whenever we weren't cleats in the ground, screwed in, ready to go play. And that's tough. It's hard enough to do that job when when you're lined up and you know what they're trying to do. It's really hard when you're playing catch up and you're not ready at the snap.
Heading into UAB with their strong offense, your defensive backs looking for their first interception of the season. Any emphasis on maybe ball hawking going into there?
Well, I mean, yeah, every week we do turnover circuits. We do ball security circuits. So, there's always an emphasis. This quarterback's going to make it hard to get turnovers, though, truthfully. He does a good job. They get the ball out of his hand. He doesn't throw it, doesn't put it in jeopardy. You got to, you try to put pressure on them, but they don't hold the ball in the pocket. So, it's not going to be an easy game to get picks. Certainly we do need to get some turnovers. One on the year is not what we're used to, so we got to get back to getting it. But, that's always a point of emphasis. We know we need to get turnovers and steal possessions.
Those normal ingredients for getting the win. You guys have more plays, time of possession. I guess when you look at the greater scape of it, how do you keep this from, sort of escalating? How do you keep the guys from not focusing on the things that didn't work, but maybe the things that did?
Well, that's football. People get beat every week. That's statistically win the game. That's football, and that's the way the game works. Every game you play, regardless of if you win or you lose, you have to take the good things and you have to build off of it. But you have to look at the negative things that you did, and you have to improve from it. So, whether you win or lose on the scoreboard, your process is really still the same. And it's it's a hell of a thing because, if you win by 1 point, you feel completely different than if you lose by 1 point, but the problems are still the problems. So, you have to learn to separate the emotion from what the work that really needs to get done. And the work is there regardless, right? I mean, the game was what it was, whether you win or you lose. I mean, it's the issues are still there. So, that's kind of the thing is you got to get over the emotion of it. And that's the hard part because you put so much into it as players, as coaches, everybody that's in it, they put a ton into it. But like I said, whether we go down and we score and we win, like those problems are still here today. I mean, it's just the natural order of it. It's just rinse and repeat. And you have to do it week after week. So, I mean, you come back in, the challenge to the coaches, you got to be the same guy that you were after you win. The challenge to the players is that you got to come in and you got to be humble enough to realize that, everyone's got to take a little bit of blame. We got things we got to fix. And then you got to be committed to doing the work. And, if we do that, we'll be just fine. And, one thing I know about this group of kids is, number one, they want to win. Number two, they work their tails off. And number three, they're going to respond. So, it's just kind of a normal Monday, I mean, it's just got to do the work.
You talked about building on some of the good things. What are some of those things you're looking to build upon, the good things from that game?
Well, I'll go through it again. I think on offense, I thought we were efficient. Thought we ran the ball well. Thought the pass game was much improved, including protections. Didn't turn it over. Defensively, the effort and the speed we're playing was really good. We got a couple big stops. Certainly got to get more of them. And then on special teams, the 3 units that we executed well on, you got to continue to do that while you get the other ones fixed.
Time for a couple more.
Where's Draylen Washington at in terms of injury standpoint?
Questionable.
You have some. You've got a couple of natural freshmen that have played and done some things, and you have another half dozen or more redshirt freshmen that are playing snaps. Would you go ahead and just address the young guys in this team and how they're progressing?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of part of the fun coming into this year, and I said it. We have some experience back, but we still have a young team, and when you look out there and you have all those young guys that are playing, that are making plays. I mean, Charles Robertson makes a huge play in the game right before half to get us down on the 1 yard line. Harvey Broussard has played really well the entire time. Caden Morrow has played in every game at guard and is playing really good as a redshirt freshman. On the defensive side of the ball, you got Caleb Edwards, who's a true sophomore that's playing a lot right now and playing really well. On special teams, you got a bunch of them that are running around out there and that are doing a good job. Zylan Perry, in the return game has been phenomenal. He's really, at running back, he's hard to square up. I mean, he's got a chance to be different for us. I'm sure there's some guys I'm forgetting, but that's the thing, like going into the year, that it was so exciting because it's like, man, you have some talented young players. You're kind of just waiting to see who's going to do it and who's maybe not quite ready. So, that's been good. Bill Davis got to get his first couple carries of the season. And if Dre can't go, he'll get some more. And he played really well. And, we've got some really good young players that we're extremely excited about. And to this point, I'm pleased with the way they've handled, the workload, the practice process, and then even in the game, they've showed up and made plays. So, it's exciting, and they're going to get better as the season goes on. They get more experience, and I know it never happens fast enough for anybody, but we know that there's work to be done, and we knew that there would be, regardless of what happened. You just, want to find a way to win that game and go out there as a team and put together a couple drives that can score and you can win. And, and then it's like I said, same issues, but you feel, maybe a little bit better for a couple minutes, moving on to the next one.
How would you compare UAB's passing game and the way they throw to what Old Dominion?
It's very different. UAB does a really good job of they motion and move, and then they'll quick game you, on the other side of it. So they do a lot of ball out passing, control passing, a lot of perimeter screens and things like that to get them the ball in space. It's not as vertical as what Old Dominion was. Not to say they can't. Against NC-A&T, they did throw some shots and hit them. But against Georgia Southern, it was really horizontal, and they did a good job because they got a quarterback who can run. They've got 2 really good backs. So if you go and you play man and you kind of empty out and man it, they've got the threat of quarterback running some of those things too that are a problem. So, it's they've got a little bit of a different passing attack, but they've been really efficient. I mean, their quarterback is completing at a really high percentage rate. I mean, you'd have to imagine that, Trent Dilfer would know how to, design an offense to get a quarterback to play good, and he has. They've done a really good job, and they put the ball in playmakers' hands, which is the more touches everybody gets, the better, right? Keeps everybody happy, keeps everybody moving, and they do a good job. They spread it around, and those guys, they get catches, and it sideline to sideline, they'll all get it.